So again, this idea of being able to put sound anywhere you want to is really starting to catch on. We've got the military had just deployed some of these into Iraq where you can put fake troop movements a quarter of a mile away on a hillside. Or you can whisper in the ear of a supposed terrorist some biblical verse. I'm serious.
Look out for Charlie.
So this video here was sent to me by a friend of mine, and it's all about this chick surviving addiction and what she's gone through. And there's a key part in here. It gets into some pretty crazy shit, and it goes right along with the things that I talk about on this channel, right? So, you know, she had been in the system a few times, in hospitals, in, police stations, whatnot. So, you know, that would put you on the radar. So I haven't watched this yet. I've only watched like 2 seconds of it, and I was like, I'm going to make a video on this. So let's listen to this part together, and I'll stop along the way when I need to and explain what is going on here.
But I tried to hide it still. Like, I was telling my mom, my sponsor, I was still sober, wasn't honest, and I got home, and I tried to get sober again. I'm like, you know what? I just had 1 weekend of drinking. I'm not going to go through bad withdrawals. I'll be fine. Right. I end up going into full-on psychosis, day 4.
Okay. People don't go into full-on psychosis from a couple of drinks, you know, for a weekend from alcohol. You know, a lot of people out there talk about Occam's razor. They bring up that a lot. They bring it up to me a lot. Occam's razor. Well, either humanity has completely and totally changed, or you can go into full-on psychosis from a couple days of drinking. Let's keep going.
And I remember waking up that morning.
Because you stopped drinking, just cold turkey, and it just threw you into this.
Yep,
Wow.
yep. Waking up.
No, she drank for 2 days. She just said that. It's not like she was, you know, pickled for 6 months and decided to get sober. So let's keep going.
That morning, like, I woke up and I was like, wow, I feel so good. Because you do, when you're in psychosis, you don't realize it. Yeah. And it was really crazy because I've always said to my husband, I said, hey, if I'm going to believe in the same God you are, I need like this magical moment. And we really thought I was having this magical moment because it was like a religious psychosis.
I have I've heard so many stories of people going into psychosis, and it's always like a God-centered thing. Like, you can hear God, or God is telling you to do this, this, and this. Okay,
so look, this isn't psychosis. You know exactly what it is. I know exactly what it is. They do this to these people. She's got a husband who clearly believes in God. He's probably a Christian, and she wants to be a Christian too. And here comes this magical moment, right?
Hear what yours was like.
So these voices, they seem so real. Like, it's so
Here
crazy too. But I had these voices telling me to open up the Bible, and they were telling me these numbers like 26, 18, 19, 20, 26, 19, 18, 20. So I'm like going through the Bible, trying to figure out like what it is. And I'm reading these verses, and Wiley said
and her psychosis just happens to know these numbers, right? That she's figuring out. You know, it is always against science. Like, your psychosis can suddenly make up things that you don't know, right?
My husband, even before that, he's like, you were reciting Bible verses, Brittany. And I'd never even opened a Bible at that point. And he was like, you were reciting these Bible verses like crazy. And
see? And she doesn't know them, but she's reciting them. Do you understand the problem here? And then, you know, you get all these Occam's razor people that want to come talk about this. Well, Occam's razor, she just knows these Bible verses now. Come on, man.
Memorizing them, saying them, and the voices, it was almost 24 hours. So at first they started coming from my laptop. Like,
there you go. She thinks they're coming from the laptop, coming from the fan, because the fan and everything operating in the laptop is creating the noise for these voices to ride on. People hear them coming from their laptop fans, from their house fans. We've talked about this a million times, from a hot water tank, from a refrigerator motor, white noise, whatever.
Head down, like, on the laptop, and I'd be like, do you hear that? Do you hear that? And it was just like music at first, though. It started with music.
Okay, so it starts with music, and then it turns into voices. This is typical voice of God type weaponry. Typical.
Music out of things. And my husband was like, no, I don't hear anything. And I was like, okay, you know, still, I'm not concerned because it seems so real. Yeah. This is the very beginning of 2020. Okay. This is January 2020.
So right before COVID.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm hearing these voices, and I hear them coming from the blow dryer. Like I go blow dry my hair, and I
see. So they're coming from any noise that she's making. This backs up everything that I've talked about on this channel. I haven't seen this yet. This is fucking amazing.
I heard this like Christian song blaring, and I was singing it to my husband. We looked it up. Sure enough, I'd never heard the song before. I was telling him the lyrics. We look it up, and he's like, "Oh, it's a Christian song."
Dude,
he's like,
"Dude, proof, right there. There's your Occam's razor." Motherfuckers.
I've never heard of this song before, but I was singing it from what I could hear.
That's insane.
It was the craziest thing.
It's not insane. It's technology. And if you people out there would get your heads out of your asses, you would realize what is going on. It is in noise everywhere. It's just that not everybody can hear it. Not everybody is sensitized to hear it. But if you want to hear it, you could listen to white noise for about 2 weeks and really intently listen to white noise, and you will begin to hear this stuff.
Ever. And then the voices started coming in. That's where it got a little bit more scary. I was in my room on my bed, you know, hearing these voices telling me to look through the Bible. And it was almost like they were trying to get me to something. And I thought this was my moment that I was going to be saved by God. And so my husband said, he's like, he honestly believed too, because he's very religious. Mm-hmm. He thought this was actual God talking to me. He's like,
God does not talk to people according to Christians. So how could a Christian believe that God is talking to you? Do you realize how messed up modern Christians are? Old school Christians know that God does not talk to you, not with a verbal voice. Anyone who thinks that or believes that isn't a Christian or doesn't know anything about the religion that they believe in. It's insanity.
I'm just going to let you be, because there wasn't anything super concerning yet. Like it was happy things, like. But then I remember being on my bed and I felt something full on crawling behind me.
There you go.
On the bed. Ugh. Like I felt the bed, and then I like.
Those are like the vibration type things that happen to people. Sensations. So
felt something touch my shoulder full on. Oh no. And that's when I freaked out. And I told my husband, I said, hey, something's wrong here. And because they were telling me too, the voices, they told me to go to the window and like put my arms up, and the sky looked crazy that day. It was one of the days where there was like clouds and the sun would like come through.
Those are little tests. So if they say, you know, go to the door and stick your hand out the door, go to the window and stick your arms up like that, just do these little things. They want to see if you will do the small things, because once you do and they see that you are willing to do these small things, the orders that they give you are going to get more and more nefarious as time goes by. That is how this works. This is put together by the same people that put together Guantanamo Bay tactics. All right?
Yeah, you can see like the beams. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And now at this point, like they told me to put my arms up, and I'm like, okay, this is God saving me, but I'm not even kidding you. I felt my entire body being lifted like off the ground. And that's
a sensation. It's a sensation in your ears because the pressure in your inner ears is being messed with. I've had tinnitus really bad for, some years now, just blasted. And it comes and goes, and it picks up when I enter my house, right? Now, one time I was walking down the hallway, and it felt like I fell right through the floor. But my body didn't really move at all. It was my inner ears being, messed with because there's negative pressure or whatever was going on. So, anyway, that's how this is caused.
And I freaked out and put my arms down, but they tell me, no, it's okay. This is your last chance. This is your last chance. That's what they kept saying.
So that's what they will do. They'll hype you up and get your adrenaline going by telling you that, this is your last chance or whatever it is. It's a script. It's always the same things, just said different. If it was an alien experience, the same thing would be said just in a different way, right? It's a script.
And so I put him back up, and then I freaked out, and that's when I called my husband and I said, hey, something's wrong. That's when he knew too. He's like, this is not God. This is something else that's happening.
This is not God. For a Christian to even believe that in the first place is insanity.
Can you, the moment that I decided it wasn't God, then this huge whirlwind came in our room, and my husband's holding me tight. And obviously this didn't actually happen, but in my head, it was almost this tornado, wrapping around us. And we ran outside because I was so scared of being in the house. I could see things moving. It was almost like an acid trip too. Yeah. And I go outside in the front yard, and I was like, babe, do you hear that? I heard all of our neighbors chanting these numbers in the street. I was like, do you hear that now? And it sounded so real to me. He's like, Brittany, there's no one out here.
Do you see that? So now she believes the neighbors are chanting. And now, they could convince her that they're all part of the cult and the witch coven that is doing this to her, right? And then get her to do something maniacal. This is how this works. This is a voice of God weapons victim, period.
And I'm like, but thankfully in that moment, something clicked, and I was like, you need to take me to the hospital right now because I might be going
DTs.
through. Yes.
It's not detox,
for a
dude.
second, I was like,
it's not detox, and only an idiot would believe it's detox. Detox does not work like that. That is not how detox works. Voice of God / audio weapons have subverted the mental health industry, the medical industry, and all these different industries in such a way that people now believe that this is detox or psychosis when it isn't. It's absolutely insane. It's crazy. This is crazy.
I think I'm dying because I was panic attack too. And yeah, sure enough, he takes me to the ER, and they're like, oh, day 4 alcohol withdrawals. And obviously the Suboxone, and I think I don't remember what else. I was on some other prescriptions and stuff. Yeah. And yeah.
See what they do here? They blame it all on the prescriptions and all on this shit. They did it to that woman on Dr. Phil, who came out and was actually talking about things that I talk about on my channel way back. It was verbatim, like a hit piece, like an intentional hit piece. This was when my channel was getting lots and lots of views before they put the brakes on it. And then she started bringing in aliens, and then said that she was on Suboxone and all this crap, and they blamed it all on Suboxone. And it was a total hit piece, and I don't believe that woman was even real. I think she was an actress that was on the Dr. Phil show claiming to be a voice hearer, right? All right, let me see if they talk about these voices anymore in this. So yeah, that was it. But, this is somebody, she's going through what she believes is a God experience. The hospital believes it's psychosis. She ends up starting to believe it's psychosis. The Christian husband believes it's God talking to her. And she's hearing it through the laptop in the beginning, and then hearing it through the blow dryer or anything that makes noise, just like I have talked about in hundreds of videos on this channel. It is absurd. This can be recorded. I've showed you that this can be recorded and shown that there are voices in there telling people to do things, all these things. If she had kept hearing this and kept going, they would have convinced her that it was the neighbors doing shit and that it was some witch coven, and that, she would have ended up doing something to somebody and going to prison for the rest of her life. So here's another one. Recognize it for what it is. This is weaponized sound. And again, Occam's razor. Either humanity and the human mind has totally changed completely in the last 25, 30 years, or everything has been subverted, which it has. Like I said before, the entire mental health narrative and mental health industry has been subverted by these weapons. And it's not just voices, it's how you feel, the ups and downs, all of it. And the entire medical industry has been subverted with these weapons because it can cause illness. You know, human beings have not changed. What has changed is what is in our surroundings. RF, ELF, EF, all of it. That is it for now. Look out for Charlie.
We lost them. God damn it!